Yo, yo, what's going on? What's going on, people of the world? People of this diggity dog world. How are you doing today? It is a glorious Monday. I hope everybody's doing fantastically well. Um, so, yeah, my day was going great, as it always does. Actually, have a confession. While my day is going swimmingly to a degree, I have injured myself pretty badly. So I am getting ready for a big Taekwondo tournament. And this weekend I was training, doing some work. So what was I doing? I was sparring, working out, and I twisted. I rolled my ankle, is what I did. And it was pretty severe. At first, I didn't know how severe it was, so I kept kind of working through it. Like I heard it pop, and I was like, "Damn it!" I knew it wasn't good, but I decided to try to work through the pain. So I got a brace on and just continued to work out a little bit. I knew there was something wrong though. Then later on that day, after the adrenaline wore off, I knew something was wrong because it was just fucking painful. And then yesterday and today, the bitch swelled up pretty big. So now I got to see if I'll be able to fight this weekend or not. Um, if this was not a big tournament, I would definitely say, fuck it, I'm out. But considering it's a big tournament, probably my last one for a little while, you know, if I can make it work, I will, but I don't want to also risk long-term health for it, like an Achilles issue, because that's where I'm getting a lot of pressure, probably because of the swelling. It's not swelling too bad, just a little. Now, what I want to talk about today is traveling abroad. So my title was a little misleading, maybe, not entirely so. Basically, I found that on TikTok, of all places, I know it's not, it's kind of some sketchy shit going on with TikTok, but on TikTok, you can, um, what is it? On TikTok, somebody posted how you can work for like, you can have a work stay program if you travel abroad. So, what's a work stay? A work stay is a situation where you basically stay in like a hostel or a home, bed and breakfast, whatever situation. It could be a farm, an NGO, and they provide room and board for you, and you provide them with services. So for hostels or something, for a small business, they might say, we want you to work for us, and in return, we will, what's going on, Reefer? Nice to see you, brother. We need to jump on a call sometime. Um, I was just talking about how I have recently, it's not the first time I heard of it, but I had found a program called Work Away, where actually I didn't mention it yet. Yeah, dude, we need to do a Skype bait session for sure. All of those who will listen to this later, all five of you, Skype baiting is underrated. You can put your junk right on the screen. Everybody's happy. Everybody's pleased. Anyway, back to the story here. Kiefer, have you heard of it called Workaway? Basically, you can get connected with hosts. They can be businesses, they can be families, they can be farmers, they could be ranchers in all over the world, many different countries, and they provide you room and board. And in return, you have to like work for like 4 or 5 hours a day. Usually, the max is about like 5 hours a day, and it's a way for people that don't have a lot of money can get in some fucking traveling, right? So if you don't have a lot of money saved up, but you want to go see some shit, then you can make yourself a little indentured servant. Now, of course, you're not really a servant because you can leave whenever you want, I think. And yeah, it could probably get weird in some places, but It's looks really fucking interesting. So I looked up some places, and like in Taiwan, there are workaway places where you can work at a hostel, and they always ask your skill set. So like, what do you know? So can you write? Can you make videos? Can you edit videos? Stuff like that. Because if you're staying at like a hostel, you could stay at a hostel for free, and maybe they say, hey, could you help us write some blog posts and check people in for a couple hours a day? And some of them also offer payment, so you can get free room and board plus like a small stipend, probably like just enough to like get around from place to place outside of your locale. Anyway, so I spent today looking over some of that a little bit, because since I plan on, well, I say I plan, like I've already got tickets to Taiwan and I already booked a place to stay for the first month. So, but I was just thinking, if all my plans fail, say I get down there and my internet sucks and I lose my teaching customers and all that, then I thought, oh, okay, worst case scenario, I could fucking do some of this shit for a while until I figure out my next move. So, but I would say there's some caveats to this thing. Is if you're going to do this, I would highly recommend if you do it, you're probably going to want to have some money saved up. I wouldn't think that you need to have a whole lot, but you want a few $1,000s saved up at least for a fucking ticket out of there if some shit goes wrong, right? Like, so you don't want to go on a work stay program and then maybe you get sick, or maybe you just need to get back to your home country and you're like, oh, well, I was traveling on a budget, but I have no money at all because I'm doing work stay programs. Well, then you're kind of fucked. So in that case, you should probably save a little bit of money, and just have some backup ideas. So if stuff goes south, what are you gonna do? Can what countries you're going to? You don't want to go to a country that you could potentially get stuck in, or you might. Depending on what your flavor is. Some people are into that. So I also thought about how this workaway program could be really good for language learning. So I think we all kind of know that if you stay in an environment, like if you immerse yourself in the environment of the language you want to learn, it's probably like the best way to learn it. So I experienced that when I was in Taiwan recently. And I mean, we've all just heard it before, right? So this could be another good experience. Like if somebody doesn't, like, I mean, you don't want to fork over a bunch of money for expensive college courses, maybe go back to school, take courses to learn a language. If you've got the freedom and the time and you could just move to fucking Mexico for a couple months, you could probably learn Spanish, not spend any money on room and board, and pick up, do some cool shit. Hang out with the locals, get an interesting experience. Something I've been pondering. Something else I learned today. Kiefer, have you ever heard of freighter travel? Traveling by freighter. Like, I was looking online to see if you can still travel around by boat. Not like, I don't want to be on a cruise ship, but like, could you travel in some form or fashion on a boat somewhat safely? And I found out, like, tied up on in a shipping container. Yeah, exactly. Like tied up in a shipping container, with a guy that comes in and checks in on me every once in a while and tells me to put the lotion on my skin. Yeah. So I was looking into that, and there's companies set up that will connect you with freighters, not on a shipping container. You're not on a shipping container, but that's a good question. You're actually in the quarters. I guess a lot of these freighters are outfitted with, I guess they probably, they have got crew members, so they've got lots of crew space. So I guess what they do is they also rent out that space to people who want to travel via freighter. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. I haven't found any company that's like Uber for this, but that's the idea. Is that I think it's probably an older system, so I think there's brokers. So there's probably, I think there's various online websites that will connect you like, hey, we're working with these companies so we could get you on. More like how like travel agencies work, probably. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. You could get hooked up with rooms on a freighter and travel across the ocean. And I'll tell you what, that you talk about an interesting experience, that would be fucking weird. Um, and to combine that, like I would say, probably one of the now that ain't free. So the work stay shit I was talking about, that is virtually free as long as you can get there, right? You just I think the website that I was talking about, it's called workaway.info. What's going on, Paralifeguard? It's called workaway.info, and you got to pay $42 a year, $40 a year. But I mean, I was checking it out today. Hey, there are literally hundreds, and like depending on the country you choose, like Thailand had like 500 work away locations. So in Thailand, you could, if you wanted to go visit Thailand, but you didn't have a lot of money, you get your ass over there and then do one of these work away programs where you work for 4 or 5 hours a day, and then you can, kind of live in with the situation. Yeah, yeah. This is a really interesting website that I found on TikTok, man, on fucking TikTok. Somebody on TikTok was saying that he travels all over the place, and people were always asking him like how the hell he does it. And he said he uses Workaway, where he just basically shows up in a place. You have to contact these hosts ahead of time. No, it's legit. This is legit, Paralifeguard. Um, and you can, and like I was just saying how this is basically part of my backup plan. If when I go to Taiwan, if like everything failed, because I teach on various websites for English, if like all that went down, then I would just resort to, for at least a little while, I would say fuck it, have some fun, do some work, stay shit around. I actually think I will. So Paralifeguard's asking if I will do some work away stuff. Even here's my thing. It depends on how long I'm going to be in Taiwan. Now that I found about this workaway stuff, I'm pretty sure this is going to extend my stay a little bit because no matter what, I want to give it a try. So even if I'm still teaching online, I could, take off a few weeks and say, hey, I'm going to go do a workaway somewhere and, just like really get in with the people there. Like you can work on farms. I mean, this is such a first world fucking deal, right? You can work on a farm. Meanwhile, like people all over the world are like, I'm tired of this shit. But yeah, I think it would be really interesting to experience that. Like that's part of the thing. I feel to a degree. I mean, I'm in the U.S. I have a pretty comfortable life, so. So Paralifeguard thinks I'm gonna fall in love and not come back. You mean fall in love with a person or just the whole thing? Now that's possible. That's possible. But while it is possible, I could find the love of my life over there and or just not want to come back. Oh, with a turtle. That's right, dude. Hey, you got to show turtles some love, brother. Yeah, I already love the country. That's true. That's true. But at this point, I'm not in a rush. I would say earlier this year, I felt a little bit more of like a rush. I'm like, hey, what's going on out here? But over the last, I don't know, probably since I came back from my trip from Taiwan, and now I plan on heading over there, I'm like, okay, I feel as though I would benefit from some additional life experiences. And if I get a girlfriend over there as well, it could be fantastic, but it could also be limiting. Yeah. So Keeper writes, you find it when you least expect it, bruh. And I'll tell you what, that is so fucking true. I say that like I'm like a 70-year-old man. That's the truth, buddy. You find it when you least expect it. Yeah, actually, you know what, dude? That's how the last okay, so no. The last major one, the last big relationship, that's how that one got started. That was totally by accident. I was going in for a hit it and quit it kind of situation, turned into 3 years. So, Para Lifeguard says, we might see you on 90 Day Fiance. Fuck that. So, I have not really watched a lot of 90 Day Fiance, but I have been hearing about it from one of my favorite podcasts called Your Mom's House. I've talked about it 1,000 times on here. Yeah. And it sounds horrific. 90 Day Fiance, where so they talked about two different types of it. Like one where the people come to the US and basically they were talking about how they don't understand how the show's even legal because basically people are just looking for green cards and like US citizenship, which you're legally you're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be because you really you love the person. Well, we all know there's an industry there. Yeah. So they were talking about that and how there's all of these like young, sometimes there's like these really young, pretty girls and they like come over and they're just hanging with these sloppy dudes. They're like living in their parents' basements, but that's just some of them. And then they were telling me about one where the Americans go abroad and how this one dude was like 35 years old and was like a virgin. He's like 30 years old. He's like a virgin. And he's falling for this chick in Central America or something. And she's just wiping the floor with him. Like she doesn't give a fuck about him. And he's like on his knees trying to like please her. And she doesn't give a shit. So, I bet it's entertaining. I bet it's entertaining for a lifeguard. What about you, Kiefer? Have you guys ever? I could see you and you and your girl, Jen, hanging out, watching some 90 Day Fiance. Is that the guy's name, Caesar? Oh, that is like the opposite name of somebody who, it's like the opposite of what he should be named, right? Caesar was a conqueror. Caesar wasn't a bitch. All right. So this guy needs to change his name. But yeah, apparently from what I heard, he went down there and so super, super funny. Super funny. But Para Lifeguard, I was also telling over here that you can travel. I was looking out, so now that I'm finding out Caesar's a bitch. That's so true. Oh man. Since I've been in this exploratory mode of like looking at different ways to work abroad and like in a creative way, I found that I was like, can you still travel on boats? Like not cruise lines, but like a boat across the ocean. And I found that you can travel across the ocean on a freighter, like a shipping freighter, not in the containers as Kiefer would suggest, but they have extra rooms and stuff like that you can book. And it can be a little pricey. I read online it could be like between 65 to 100 and something bucks a day. So it's like maybe a journey from, but it's not too bad for an experience like that. Like if it was 5 days to go from like California to, yeah, they provide food. It's like once you pay the fee, like you get the food and the, water and everything. Yeah, Kiefer's like, geez, I think he's talking about because the long time that you'd be traveling. But see, that's part of it. That's part of the experience. Like, in our modern day lives, Kiefer, you know this already. You're a grown man like I am, though I don't act like it now, I guess. We move too fast. Everything is just so fucking fast. We're constantly in a rush. Yeah, seasickness would be a problem. So assuming that you can take care of seasickness, the time I think would actually be cool. I think, and imagine the clear sky, dude. Like somebody mentioned that like the how clear the sky is at night. Imagine, dude, because you're an outdoorsman. Kiefer is an outdoorsman. He you put him in the mountains and he'll wind up in Houston at the end of the day. Oh, you're going back to Houston on the Amtrak. I've never taken the Amtrak. Quick trip for sure with someone else. Um, so Kiefer's talking about how sailors are sketchy. Yeah, maybe they are a little sketchy. Um, but I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I came back to the States via freighter instead of flying? Like, so say I spend like a year or so abroad in Asia doing some shit, and then I come back to America on a freighter. Wouldn't that be some cool ass shit? Now, like you said, it would be a long time, and I would have to figure out about the seasickness stuff. But assuming I wouldn't be sick the whole time, assuming I can speak fucking English, customs. Oh my gosh, yeah, customs. They'd be like, "Hey, this boy, what's this boy doing?" Assuming I could get into the country and everything works out well, that would be interesting as fuck, man. Imagine just being like chilling on a boat for a few days, and like you go out at night, man, and like the sky is super clear. You're in the middle of the fucking ocean, dude. You're in the middle of the ocean, man. I mean, like, also, it would be so tragic if you died. Like, if the boat went down, that would be one of the worst experiences ever. But assuming that you make it there alive, then, which, you know, the freighters are crossing the oceans all fucking day long, 24 hours a day. So, you know, the level of incidences are small. Yeah, exactly, Para Lifeguard. It's like a cruise. It's just a different. It's like a cruise, but different. Kiefer says, yeah, I watched too much Shark Week for that. Pfft, do you really watch Shark Week? I hear about Shark Week, but I don't know if I've ever met anyone who's ever watched it. It's almost like the show that no one watches, but everyone knows. But somehow they keep playing it. What is Shark Week? What the fuck do they do on Shark Week? Do I need to Google this shit? I've been hearing about Shark Week like since I was in high school, maybe, or college. But yeah, have you guys ever seen that movie Life of Pi? That was scary as shit. I mean, it wasn't, you know, new tech, they used to check on shark behavior and such. Oh, interesting. So Keeper's saying that they just, I guess you just watch sharks, and I bet they have a guy with a really nice voice overlaid throughout the show talking about all the different stuff and the shark attacks and the, you know, all that stuff. So yeah. Have you guys ever seen The Life of Pi? That movie was surprisingly good. It was about this Indian family trying to come to, I think they were trying to come to America. They're on this big fucking boat, and the boat sinks, and the only guy left is this kid. So yeah, Kiefer saw Shark Week because he was unemployed during that time, which congratulations again on getting a new job. I've seen you on Instagram. So he kept it on in the background for 2 weeks. Dude, yeah, that's depressing. Unemployment and Shark Week, that's a deadly combo. I'm surprised you came back from that, bro. Good for you, man. Yeah, you might want to check it out, Life of Pi. And so the kid and his family, Indian family, they sink on a big ass boat in the middle of the Indian Ocean, maybe, or the Pacific Ocean, and on their way to America. And the whole movie is about him basically traveling alone through the Pacific Ocean with some animals. And then at the end of the movie, you have to figure out if the animals were real or not. It's interesting. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I wasn't like, oh, taken aback. The reason I thought it was a good movie is because my expectations were actually at the floor. So at first I was like, oh, this is gonna be gay. But it was better than I thought. So, and I was in China at the time, so I was like, oh, yeah, with the tiger. Yeah, yeah. There he's on the boat with the tiger. Man, I'll tell you what, this is the most engaged Kiefer's ever been on a live stream. I feel like most of the time he just when he does tune in, I feel like he just tunes in and tunes out. But today he's actually on here, man. That's some good shit. Getting some feedback from the old reefer madness. Um, but yeah, yeah, man. So no, Kiefer's probably not high now. He's probably not high now, but his real name is Kiefer, and it rhymes with reefer. So I started calling him in high school. Started calling him Reefer Madness. So that's just how it goes. Well, guys, it's been about 30 minutes, and it's about bedtime for me. So I gotta hit the motherfucking hay. Motherfucking hay. Yeah, see, Kiefer doesn't mess with that shit. That was just his nickname. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, man. Thank you. Thank you again. I love the conversation, the community, the support. It's good shit. And I'll see you guys next time. If you want me to talk about anything in particular, don't be afraid to send me any tweets or messages. If you want me to address the state of the world, the state of the union, I can do that. So, all right, guys, thank you. And tell Jen I said hi, and adios.